Okay. Can you see my screen? Anyone, please?
No, Prabhu, nothing.
Nothing yet. Okay. Let me. What about now? Is all okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Let's chant the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, so let's continue on chapter 10. Right. So in chapter 10, we have seen how Krishna again says about glories of hearing about Krishna. And by hearing about Krishna, actually we can free from all the sins. That's Krishna start in chapter text 1 itself. All right. And then, just 1 second. Yeah, where Krishna says that hearing about Krishna. So Krishna is going to give more information and hearing about that. What will happen? It will benefit for all of us, right? And then Krishna started speaking about this, about his more glories, that how Krishna is source of everything. Everything comes from Krishna, and Krishna says that even there are host of demigods and the great sages, they know my original opulences incomplete. They do not know it actually, right? And but he is he is the source of all the demigods and sages, but still they do not know Krishna's completely, right? And then Krishna goes on more saying that he who knows me as unborn and as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all worlds, he only undulated among men is freed from all sins. So knowing Krishna as he is unborn, he is beginningless, he is the supreme Lord of the all universe, he is Jagannath, then one becomes free from all sins, right? And then in this way, Krishna he goes more, like he talks about how that that intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, these all are the qualities of a living being, and everything is created by me alone. Krishna is saying that these all qualities are actually created by himself, right? Whatever we see it in this one, we discussed all this earlier. I'm just giving a quick recap because we have been discussed for a long time now. And then Krishna talks about the 7 sages and the 4 Chatuskumaras and the Manus. They all are coming from Krishna, right? And if you remember earlier, we have discussed about how this metal universe come into existence. So how Krishna expands himself, and then going from there, it comes to Purusha Avatara, then 3 Purushas, and how this universe is created. So Krishna is the actually origin of everything. And that from text, we'll see from text 8 today, that how this 4 verses, 8, 9, 10, and 11 is become the essence of Bhagavad Gita, right? And also is being called as Chaturshloki Gita. So here, glory of bhakti, glory of bhakta, and Bhagavan are being described here. Let's see it. We'll go one by one. If you can, please repeat after me. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Oh, sorry, we'll go word by word first. Aham
Aham
sarvasya
सर्वस्य
prabhavo.
प्रभो
Aham sarvasya prabhavo.
अहं
Aham
सर्वस्य
सर्वस्य
प्रभो
Mataha
मतः
sarvam
सर्वं
pravartate.
प्रवर्तते
Mataha sarvam pravartate.
मतः सर्वं प्रवर्तते
Iti
Iti
matva
Matva
मत्वा
bhajante
भजन्ते
mam
मां
udha
बुधा
bhava
Bhava
भाव
samanvitaha
समन्वितः
iti matva bhajante mam
इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां
udha bhava samanvitaha.
Bodha
भावसमन्वितः
Okay, let's repeat the sloka once again. Aham sarvasya prabhavo
अहं
सर्वस्य
प्रभवो
प्रभवो
mataha sarvam pravartate
Matah
मतः सर्वं
सर्वं
प्रवर्तते
प्रवर्तते
iti matva bhajante mam
Iti
इति मत्वा
मत्वा
भजन्ते
भजन्ते
मां
मां
bodha bhava samanvitaha.
Bodha
भावसमन्वितः
भावसमन्वितः.
Okay, let's read the translation and then we'll continue our discussion on this. Krishna says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Right. So Krishna is starting from here, that how the pure devotees, they dwell in Krishna all the time, and how they engage everything, how they think of everything about Krishna. And Krishna is claiming here again that Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Prabhavo means, Prabhupada says, the source of generation. So Sarvasya means whatever we see, and Sarvasya Prabhupada says again as material as well as spiritual world. So creation of spiritual world as well as material world. The source of creation of material world as well as spiritual world is Aham. Krishna says, I am the source of, I am the origin of spiritual world as well as material world. And he says, Mataha Sarvam Pravartate. Pravartate is again Krishna, his emanates. So Krishna, the source of everything, and Mataha Sarvam Pravartate. So everything, spiritual or material, even whatever we see here, everything actually emanates from Krishna as well. Right, just before I was talking earlier that how we have seen earlier from Krishna, he expands till Purushavatar, and from Purushavatar we see how the creation happens. There are 3 Purushavatar, and from there this material cosmos is created. In the similar way, spiritual world is also created is by Krishna. He is emanated from Krishna himself. And not only that, Krishna says that iti matva bhajante mam. Anyone who engage, who do service, bhajante, who they become devoted towards Lord. How? Iti matva, by understanding, with this understanding that Krishna is the source of everything. Everything emanates from Krishna. Everything rests in Krishna. In that mode, in that consciousness, the devotee who becomes, who becomes devotee to me, what they do? The Buddha Bhava Samanvita. These are the intelligent people. They are the most intelligent people who have this understanding that Krishna is the source of everything, and everything emanates from Krishna. And that's what it is. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this, they engage themselves in devotional service of whom? Of Krishna, in my devotional service, and worship me with all their hearts. And Krishna is going to explain this more in next 3 verses again as well. Next verses too. Right. So Krishna is what? Krishna is source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything means everything. A to Z is Krishna. Right. And that's the mood, that's the consciousness of the devotee. And anyone who has this consciousness, they gradually become the devotee of the Lord, because he's the supreme. I was hearing a lecture today in the morning. Prabhupada is the lecture from Letter of Devotion. Prabhupada explains very nicely that a child is not worrying about how shall I get food, or how shall I get toys, and how shall I get the cloth and everything. He depends upon his parents, isn't it? So he's independent. He doesn't care about anything. He just goes on his one thing, that's playing, right? But the parents, they provide everything to the child. So in the similar way, when the devotee understand that everything is given, everything is of Krishna, then they engage in the service of Lord, and Krishna provide whatever they need and whatever it is, right? So that's the highest understanding of the devotee. That's a pure devotee who understand that everything is Krishna. Even when they get distress, they think that is the Krishna's plan. There's something a huge was about to happen to me, but Krishna has just given me a token disaster, token miseries of that. That's become the understanding of devotee. So let's see what Prabhupada says in this purport. Prabhupada starts, he says that a learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya, and who knows how to apply this teaching, can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both material and spiritual world. That's Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. Prabhupada explains it in a more elaborate way, that how this words is, right? So what Prabhupada says, that any learned person who has studied the Vedas perfectly. So there is two things. One is understanding this knowledge of Vedas, and then second thing is applying it. If you know the knowledge, if you don't apply it, what is the meaning of that? Isn't it? So what the knowledge is? Knowledge is that Krishna is the source of material and spiritual world. And what application is? That I engage myself in devotional service of Krishna. I worship Krishna. How? We'll see in the next verses. Krishna says how the devotees, they engage, they worship me in that mood, right? And even Prabhupada's, I think we've gone through this verse earlier as well. Even Prabhupada gives more shastric evidences how Krishna is actually is the source of everything. Right here, he says then the supreme personality of Narayana, he desired to create these living entities, and all others Prabhupada makes all different ways that how this expansion happened, how Narayana Indra is born, how Narayana expand the 8 Vasus are born, from Narayana the 11 Rudras are born, and from Narayana the 12 Adityas are born, and basically, and this Narayana, so from whom everything emanates, is an expansion of Krishna. So Krishna is the source, and then we see Narayana, and from Narayana everything emanates, right? So and Prabhupada gives more evidences from Vedas. He says that it is said in the same Vedas that Brahmano Devaki Putraha, the son of Devaki, Krishna is a supreme personality. That's from Narayana Upanishads. Another and more Prabhupada gives. And I said earlier, it's good to read Prabhupada's purport. It's amazing. And if you read Prabhupada's purport, actually all these spiritual concepts will be very much clear to you, right? And in this going over that, and in one of the words, Krishna's Prabhupada saying that Narayana is the supreme personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born. We know that how expansion happens from Brahma and then Shiva, and then actually what happens is Lord Brahma created these universes. So first primary creation happens by Krishna. Krishna provides all the ingredient for creation, and then Lord Brahma does secondary creation. He makes everything. He makes the living entity and things. But as he created, he says, nothing is happening. How to do? Then Krishna, he expands himself in Shuddha Kashaya Vishnu, and he enters into each living being, so it becomes movable. So Krishna enters in each atom's heart, right, as a Paramatma, right? So and then Krishna, then also to prognate it, then Lord Brahma, he from his son Manu comes, and Manu expand this whole as a things, right? So that's another topic of discussion. But the point is As per words, Lord Krishna is the source of all generation, right? And hence he is the original source of all and everything. So from everything, from Krishna, everything has been born. So this is the first understanding or is essence of all shastras, to understand that everything emanates from Krishna, right? Even if you see, we'll go on further and see that Krishna says the all the Vedas are actually to know me, isn't it? So if you know Krishna, then actually somehow or other we are knowing the Vedas. Prabhupada said that we are knowing the conclusion of Vedas actually. So Vedas somehow or other they direct us towards Krishna. If you see Bhagavatam, it goes towards Krishna. Shri Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is claiming here that I am Sarvasya Prabhavo. So there should not be any doubt of the scriptures, right? And then Prabhupada again makes another point, like in comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. So those who has real intelligence, see, intelligence means what? Intelligence doesn't mean that I'm a PhD holder or I'm a scholar from this and this university, so I'm intelligent. Even if you see, the intelligence means understanding Krishna consciousness, understanding why I'm suffering here, understanding who am I. And to understand this, we do not need to be a scholar. We just need to accept what our acharyas has said. Like it is very simple. Like we accept many a thing in this world what our science has discovered. And always you say science has discovered. It means what? It existed and it's what been discovered by their intelligence, and we accept it. We don't go and argue to scientists how it is, but we accept it. In the similar way, to elevate ourselves in spiritual path, we have to accept our acharyas. Acharyas has gone through this process of science as they have discovered everything, and they have just given to us just to follow the path and get elevated. And then the Prabhupada says, only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by such fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretation of Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness. Right? You see, in this world, many people they claim to be God, and sometimes people say, no, you can also become God. If you practice this, you will become God. The point comes is that Krishna, when he appeared in this world, he didn't suffer. Whatever he wanted, he got it. He had 16,108 wives, but still he has palaces for each and every one. He is to give time for each and every one. He is not suffering, and we are suffering even here to get a one bungalow, a good house. Why? If we can become God, then why are we suffering here, right? So that's how Prabhupada says we should not be reading unauthorized commentaries and interpretation of Bhagavad Gita and or even Shastras, right? So we should be always sticking towards an authorized commentator or authorized commentaries. And we should, what authority means, Prabhupada, even Krishna says that we should approach a spiritual master who is in disciplic succession. Ivam parampara praptim idam rajashayo vidu. So the knowledge should be taken from a parampara that Krishna explains in chapter 4, right? So having said that, let's see what is. So text 8 speaks about that the devotee or the people who are devoted, they understand that Krishna is the source, and then they engage themselves in Krishna bhakti, devotional service. And now in text 9, Krishna is going to explain the symptoms of pure devotee. So who is a pure devotee, right? And how they engage themselves in their daily activity. Let's say. So please repeat. Machitta,
Machitta,
Madgata,
Madgata,
Prana,
Prana,
Machitta, Madgata, Prana,
Machitta,
Bodhayanta,
Bodhayanta
Parasparam,
Parasparam,
Parasparam
Bodhayanta, Parasparam,
Bodhayanta,
Bodhayanta Parasparam
Kathayantascha,
Kathayantascha
Mam Nityam,
Mam Nityam
kathayantascha mam nityam
कथयन्तस्य मां नित्यं
tushyanti
तुष्यन्ति
cha
च
ramanti cha
Ramanti
रमन्ति च
tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च
Let's repeat once again the whole verses. Machitta madgata prana
Machitta
मच्चित्ता मद्गतप्राणा
bodhayantah parasparam
Bodhayan
बोधयन्तः परस्परं
kathayantascha mam nityam
Katayan
कथयन्तस्य मां नित्यं
tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
Tushyan
तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च.
So the thoughts of my pure devotee dwells in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So see, everywhere it is me, 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 me. So it's all Krishna, right? So what is saying? Machitta. So what means manchitta? Manchitta is means chitta is our mind. They are actually completely engaged in me. So our mind, the devotees, a pure devotee's mind, is actually always engaged in Krishna. Then madgata prana. So their lives, prana is life. Even their life is they have the pure devotee. They have dedicated their life towards Krishna. And then what happened? Bodhayantas parasparam. So what does they do? They preach among themselves, right? After engaging the pure devotee, they when they knew about Krishna is the source of everything, everything comes from Krishna. They engage themselves in devotional service, and now how they do it? They engage their mind in Krishna, and they devote their life, they devote their activities in service of Krishna, and they preach about Krishna to all the people. Even they discuss about Krishna with themselves. And then what next? Kathayantascha mam. So what they are talking, they talk about when they come together, when the devotee they come together, what did they do? Kathayantascha, they talk. What about whom? About me, chamam. Krishna says they talk about me. So what does that mean? They talk about Krishna's activity, they talk about Krishna's philosophy, they talk about Krishna's pastimes, they talk about Krishna's quality, and more and more. Krishna is unlimited, so Krishna Katha is unlimited. And how did they do? And how did they do? They do it nityam. It's not just once a year, right? It's not so once a month, even it's not so once a week. It's not. It says nityam means what? Every day, all the time. So devotees, they come together, engage together, and they talk about Krishna. They chant Krishna's holy name. They get. And what happens? What they do? It's not about the though Krishna is saying, when they talk about me nityam, when they discuss about me regularly, when they discuss my pastimes, what they do? They tushyanti cha ramanti cha. What happens? They become pleased and they enjoy this transcendental bliss. It's not mundane pleasure, right? It's a transcendental pleasure. They engage, and they by discussing about Krishna Katha, by discussing about Krishna's pastime, by engaging ourselves in Krishna, the devotees, the pure devotees, they always remain satisfied. They always remain in transcendental bliss, right? So it is basically the devotees, they engage in devotional service not for any material gain, but with love, affection, emotions toward Krishna. And when they talk to each other, when they communicate, when they discuss more about Krishna, what happens? Their love toward Krishna, it enhanced, it becomes deeper. So by discussing about Krishna, by engaging, by engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness, by engaging ourselves in discussing the Krishna's pastime, we get an affection toward Krishna. It's like see, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was giving an example, nice example. Let's, for example, you like to a film star or a sports person, and you meet a friend who also like the same sports person. Then what happens? you start talking about him more and more, isn't it? And your relationship becomes better, and also you start talking about the same personality, the sports person or the film star or whomsoever is. You talk about, okay, let's, for example, he's a cricket player. You talk about, okay, this match was very nice, he played very nice shots and everything, right? And in the similar way, when we take that sports person or a film star to Krishna, who is supreme, then imagine how bliss we would be getting. And that's why it says they always discuss about me, Nityam, and they are always remaining bliss, and they are always pleased. That's what Krishna says. They enlighten. When we talk to each other, when we discuss about Krishna, we enlighten each other. And then they are always satisfied. They are always in bliss, right? So, and also one more point, even if you see Bhagavatam, all these great devotees like Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, and all others, right? Ambrish Maharaj, everyone, they actually engage themselves in Krishna consciousness in every other way. And Prabhupada, there's a verse actually. He says, Ena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshata. In whatsoever the way you like, even you like to do kirtan, engage your mind in kirtan. Even you like to do, dancing, dance in Krishna kirtan. Even you like to read Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Even you like to sing kirtan. So whatever the way you like, whatever your activities goes towards, engage yourself in Krishna consciousness, and then you will see great satisfaction. You will see the bliss, and you will experience the bliss as well, right? And the point what Gauranga Prabhupada making in one of the lecture, he says that when the devotee, they come together and talk about Krishna consciousness, Krishna's philosophy, Krishna's pastimes, right? We do not know that how, what are actually we getting. We are actually somehow or other, without our knowledge, we are uprooting these material desires one by one. Our desires is thrown away one by one just by discussing with Krishna unknowingly. And one time, after some time, we say, okay, now I don't have any taste in this musical, this Hollywood or Bollywood songs. I'm just having taste in Krishna Kirtan. How does it happen? It's happening because whenever we come together, whenever we discuss about Krishna, that uprooting is happening on the background. We don't know it. We don't realize it. It's happening. So that's how, we cannot estimate what bliss are we getting by discussing Krishna Katha, right? And that more importantly, in association of the devotees. Okay. And there's a nice purport Prabhupada says that pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. I like this word Prabhupada all the time. He says, it's loving service to the Lord. It's not that I can become God. It's loving service towards the Lord, right? Or I am God, I can become God. No, it's not that. It's the service towards God, right? Ekela, Krishna is the supreme, and everyone else is Krishna's servant. Okay, and then there is a nice point that Prabhupada means actually here in this purport. I want to go through. Let's see. Yes, let's see here. Okay, let me read it again because it is a very nice purport. In the preliminary stage of a devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself, and in the mature state, they are actually situated in the love of God. So one way is to engage, and we are getting what? Getting the love of God. And once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. So can you imagine engaging ourselves in devotional service? We can experience those highest things, right? And Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of a living entity. So by chanting the holy name of the Lord, it's actually sowing the seed of devotional service, which is actually there. And there are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get a chance to understand devotional service. I repeat this word again, like, it's a very, very important line. He says, out of them, there are few who are fortunate enough to meet pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. So as and when, if we get any chance to associate with the pure devotee, like sannyasis and elevated souls, never ever give up the chance, right? Because that's how fortune comes, by engaging in, by associating with them, just by seeing them, we get sukriti, that's called agyata sukriti, right? And just through their association, a seed in our heart is being sown, and then it's been described the seed. What to do with the seed? We need to water the seed, isn't it? And watering process for the seed in Krishna consciousness is chanting and hearing. So, and Prabhupada again says, if he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies just as the seed of the true fructifies with a regular watering. And this tree is in the heart, the creeper, it is grows, and it actually crosses this Brahmanda, it crosses this Brahma Jyoti, it crosses the Vaikuntha, and it goes to Golok Vrindavan. Can you imagine it? How you can traverse toward that Vaikuntha Loka, again higher than to the Golok Vrindavan, right? Just by hearing and chanting. So this, I mean, I can't stop the purport, but this is a very, very nice purport. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universes and enters into the Brahma Jyoti, which is effulgence in the spiritual sky, and it grows more higher to Golok Vrindavan. And ultimately it takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Just imagine, just by chanting the holy name, but just by associating with the devotees, we are here in this material world, suffering a lot from all these calamities. And just through this process, actually, we can go to the topmost loka, Vaikuntha, not Vaikuntha, crossing that Golok Vrindavan and at the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna. Can you imagine it? So this is how the explanation of this verse goes, like how the devotee, they come and they talk to each other, and how they feel this bliss with that, right? So that's how it is important to the pure devotee, how they engage their mind, their lives, and devote towards Krishna and spread about Krishna consciousness, and they talk about Krishna consciousness. At the end, the creeper grows and goes towards Krishna's loka and to the feet of Lord Krishna. All right. Okay. Let's try to cover more verses as well. Text 10, because I want to cover these two more verses. We'll go a bit quicker. Text 10, please repeat after me. Tesham satata
Satata
yuktanam
Yuktanam
tesam satata yuktanam
Tesam Sattva-yuktanam
bhajatam
Bhajatam
priti
Priti
purvakam
Purvakam
bhajatam priti purvakam
Bhajatam Priti Purvakam
dadami buddhi
Dadami Buddhi
yogam tam
Yogam Tam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
Dadati
yena
Yena
mam
Mam
upayanti
Upayanti
te
Te
yena mam upayanti te.
Yena Mam Upayanti Te
Let's repeat again. Tesham satata yuktanam
Tesam Satata-yuktanam
bhajatam priti purvakam
Bhajatam Priti Purvakam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam
yena mam upayanti te.
Yena Mam Upayanti Te.
Very beautiful. So now see how Krishna is going to reciprocate the pure devotees. So what happens is, let's read the translation and discuss it. So to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Right? Let's see it then. So even many people who are not Krishna consciousness, who are not devoted towards Krishna, they sometimes think, okay, what will I gain if I engage myself in what will I gain? And Krishna is saying it, what he is going to gain. It's actually a spiritual bliss. It's not about, we might not get something in our physical body. It might not happen that my bank account grows suddenly, right? It's not like that, okay, I'll have a big bungalow tomorrow. It's not like that. But the soul, it actually get the spiritual bliss. Whatever we do in this world, it actually we are trying to satisfy our body somehow or other, right? I want to have some palatable food. Some people have to engage in some different activities just for the sense gratification. But where do we talk about the gratification for the soul? How the souls can get bliss by doing this? So what Hare Krishna says that Tesam satata yuktanam, anyone, the devotees who always engage, how bhajatam priti purvakam. So again, see, this word comes priti. So devotional service is love. It's out of love, out of devotion, out of emotion, right? When they engage themselves in worshipping me, in devotion towards me with love, what happens? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I provide them the knowledge, the intelligence, the real intelligence by which they can come to me. And imagine if we can go to Krishna, there is no more miseries, there is no more old age, there is no more death, there is no more any more suffering, right? There is no more birth, no death, no old age, no disease. That what we get by engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness, right? We do sense gratification, and this body is going to give us again suffering in the next body. We do not know what it may be. Maybe a animal life, aquatic life, or a tree, or a human being. We don't know. But engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness, satisfying our soul rather than body, Krishna is going to give us this knowledge. And again, the point comes here that we don't have to be a PhD holder. We don't have to be any intelligent, like, I am a scholar from this university. Krishna says, I am within everyone's heart. And anyone who engages in Priti Purvakam, and anyone who engages in the service of Krishna, in the service of me, with love and devotion and emotion, I provide them the knowledge. Right? Krishna is saying, Didami buddhi yogam tam. I provide them the what? Buddhi yoga. Prabhupada explains this. You will read it. Right? So that by this, we can come to Krishna's loka and engage in service there. Right? So that's how it is. Devoted to serving me with love. With love is very, very important. Krishna is actually using this word priti. So in devotional service, love is there. You may be going to Ashtanga yoga and others yoga, you engage yourself in a very severe austerity, but there is no love. There is love is only in devotional service. Right? Let's see quickly in this verse. Rupa says that in this verse, the word buddhi yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord instructing Arjuna said that he had spoken to him of many things that he would instruct him in the way of buddhi yoga, and now buddhi yoga is explained. So what is buddhi yoga? Buddhi yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. So we may have this knowledge, but unless and until we engage this knowledge in some action, there is no result, isn't it? You may have this knowledge of how to create water from oxygen and hydrogen, but if you don't create it, there is no use of that knowledge. We may have the knowledge of many things, but we don't engage ourselves in that, it's nothing. The engagement of knowledge is very, very important, isn't it? So that's how this buddhi means intelligence, and yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. So when one tries to go back to home, back to Godhead, and take fully to Krishna consciousness devotional service, his action is called buddhi yoga. So engaging our intelligence to go back to Godhead, right? And Prabhupada explains here, if you see here, he says, when a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows the goal of is Krishna He takes pleasure in mental speculation, he is Jnana Yoga, and he knows goal and seeks Krishna complete in Krishna consciousness, he is acting in Bhakti Yoga. So there are two things, one is called as sadhana and one is called as sadhya. So in Krishna consciousness, sadhana and sadhya both are same. Sadhana is glorifying Krishna, remembering Krishna, and sadhya is also glorifying Krishna and remembering Krishna. So the only different stage, it's in neophyte stage, and in that in an elevated stage or mature state, right? And Prabhupada says this Buddhi Yoga is the complete yoga and is the highest perfectional stage of life. So Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, whatever, all this yoga is the highest one is Bhakti Yoga. Krishna explains that in confirmed earlier in chapter 6, text 47 as well. And now Krishna is saying again the same thing, that the devotees, they worship me with love. And when they do it, I reciprocate them by providing them the knowledge. So the verse, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavana Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So in the whole universe, the fortunate people is one who by the mercy of Krishna and the mercy of Guru, they get the seed of devotional service. So that's what Krishna is saying. I provide them intelligence. So he provides the intelligence to go to a spiritual master, and the spiritual master gives him Krishna back. That's how it works, two way around. We have dedication. Krishna sees our dedication. He doesn't see our intellectual. He doesn't see our degree, how much we have studied. He sees our devotion toward Krishna, and he understands that okay, he is right one, and he directs us towards right spiritual master. And Prabhupada says, in this world, if you want to get cheated, Krishna directs us toward the cheaters, and there are so many people who will cheat you on the name of dharma. And if you are dedicated to know Krishna properly, Krishna guides you toward the right direction. That's how Krishna confirms here as well, right? And that's how Krishna reciprocates too. And I'll take some more 5 minutes to cover the last verse for today, so that this section is completed. Okay, let's try to do it a bit because this is very, very important and reciprocation from Krishna. Text 11. Tesham evanukampartham
Evanukampartham
Tesham evanukampartham
Evanukampartham
aham
Aham
agyana
Ajnana
jam
Jam
tamaha
Tamaha
aham agyana jam tamaha
Aham Ajnana Jam Tamaha
nashamya
Nashami
atma
Atma
bhava
Bhava
to
Asthu
jnana
Jnana
deepena
Deepena
bhaswata.
Bhasvata
Let's repeat the words. Tesam evanukampartham
Evanukampartham
aham ajnanajam tamaha
Aham Ajnanajam Tamaha
nashyamyam atma bhavasto
Nasamya Atma Bhavasto
jnana deepena bhaswata.
Jnana Deepena Bhasvata.
To show them special mercy, I dwelling in their heart, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So again, if you see, Krishna says that I dwelling in their heart. Krishna is there in our heart, everyone's heart. And what he does to his pure devotee, to show them special mercy. This is a special mercy we get from Krishna. And by that, what that it destroys the shining lamp, we destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. The ignorance is what? The darkness. So ignorance is basically that who am I don't know. Who is God? I don't know. I don't know about my relationship with Krishna. That is called ignorance. And Krishna dispelled this by and destroy this by the lamp of knowledge. So that's how, by chanting the holy name, when we engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness, when we engage ourselves in service of Krishna, Krishna within our heart, he enlightens us, and it destroys this ignorance, And then he gives that knowledge, okay, I am the servant of Lord. And who is the Lord? Lord is Krishna. And I need to serve Krishna. Right? So Prabhupada says that when Lord Chaitanya was in Banaras promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, thousands of people were following him. And even he talks about more about Prakashananda Saraswati. He was actually a bit, he was a bit more saying that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are not reading Vedas, you are sannyasi and you are supposed to read Vedas and not chant and dance like anything, like madmen. And the discussion happens in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then the point is here is that to get the love of Godhead, right? And then Prabhupada, I mean, that's a different topic. Basically, we'll get diverted today anyway if we go there. But the point is that if we have the knowledge about Krishna, then we should engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness. Just having the knowledge of Krishna and not acting in Krishna consciousness doesn't make any sense, isn't it? It doesn't. If you see, it applies for everywhere, right? If you have a knowledge, and if you can't prove your knowledge, then there is no point of this having knowledge. I mean, you should be, the knowledge should come in action as well, right? So Krishna's special mercy comes to the people who engage themselves in devotional service, and that knowledge will dissipate all this ignorance in the heart. And Prabhupada says here, even if you see the point I was making earlier, that you don't have to be a PhD holder. If let's, for example, if someone is not able to read anything, does it mean that he can be Krishna consciousness? No, right? It's not the qualification to be Krishna conscious that I'm learned, or I'm poor, or I'm rich, or I'm American, or I'm Indian. No, these are not the qualities of to become a Krishna conscious. Anyone from this world, anyone from any corner of this world can become Krishna consciousness. That's what Prabhupada says here. Even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of spiritual masters, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. And the only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. So we do not need any other qualification. The only qualification we need is engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness. And the best way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us this Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. By chanting holy name of the Lord, by engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness, we can actually elevate ourselves. And the only thing is needed is sincerity, right? So that this is how Krishna showers mercy on the devotees who engage, who know that Krishna is the source of everything, and they engage themselves in devotional service, and Krishna reciprocates with them in these two verses, right? So I'll read the last paragraph where this concludes these 4 verses. Prabhupada nicely concludes. He says, this is the essence of the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, and by studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. Right. So I'll stop here. Anyone have any thought, any questions, or any realization? Please feel free to share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Just a quick question, Prabhu. So in this, Krishna says about having the right intelligence to work, to having Krishna as the center and working in Krishna consciousness. And in the 4th chapter that we just read around 6 p.m., he says about the intelligence is the sacrifice. So is there any difference in what Krishna is telling, or it's the same that he mentions in 4th chapter as well as here, Prabhu?
So in fourth chapter, Krishna, when he talks about intelligence, is sacrifice, he's talking about more of sacrifice as our duty. So there he talks about the brahmachari, the 4 ashrams, right? So brahmacharis, they engage they control their senses, and they engage in more of studies of shastras, and hence they do sacrifice by their intelligence by studying these Vedas, and it's more of Krishna consciousness, like Bhagavad and Srimad Bhagavatam. So Krishna's from there actually taking Arjuna to higher state now. So that knowledge, once we have this knowledge, so we have sacrificed to getting that knowledge, and now that knowledge needs to be applied somewhere, it needs to be put in action. And then hence Krishna is taking us back here to do the actions of Krishna consciousness. But basically, in that stage, that's not pure devotional service state, because Krishna is just he's inspiring Arjuna to apply the knowledge to perform his duty. Because Arjuna was actually, he wanted to deviate from his duty. He wanted to go away from the fight. So Krishna is asking him to come back to apply the knowledge and engage in your pure activities. And now Krishna is elevating him more higher. That they're talking about pure devotees who even they perform their duties, but they always think of Krishna. They always engage their mind in Krishna. They always their thoughts are for Krishna. Their lives is for Krishna.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Yeah, if you see it, just we'll, I mean, maybe next, a couple of days, well, Arjuna is going to confirm it again, that I understand everything what you are saying, right? And he says, okay, I'll engage myself in my duty. He'll fight back again.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you so much. So there it's more about action, and here it's about getting towards a pure devotee, as to what's the qualities of a pure devotee.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Yeah, we'll join back again on next Wednesday for Gita. Yeah, one more announcement was there. The announcement was that